In today's video, we're going to be diving into the upcoming pattern, taking a look at colder air where the warmth is going to try to battle it. We've obviously been dealing with the colder air for a few weeks now, for the most part. We had a relatively warm spring up until the final half of May, where things cooled down significantly. Again, the warmth upcoming is going to try to put up a fight, but models have kind of stepped back a little bit on the warmth winning out entirely in the east, and we're going to be discussing that. Big time rainfall, especially for the eastern half of the nation. It's really hard to specify where. And then severe weather chances are going to really continue. So let's take a look at this colder air real quickly. We have a warmer period right now in the east, but as we move towards like Sunday and the weekend, it's pretty clear that by the 8th here, we have warmer conditions along the west. We call this a positive PNA, and this forces cold air into the east, and we see that in full swing effect here by this upcoming Sunday. And as we move towards midweek, nothing has really changed other than the fact that some of this warmth is starting to spread for south central Canada, north central United States, but still the majority of the east here is below normal as far as temperatures are concerned. Again, that's Wednesday the 11th. As we head towards that weekend after, again, something interesting happens. We have colder air over the west. We call this a negative PNA, and we see mostly warmth. There is still some cooler air for the southeastern and south central states, but for the most part, a lot of your Midwest, Great Lakes, Mid-Atlantic, Northeast are warmer than normal. As we keep going towards the week following that, Tuesday on the 17th, warmer air takes back over for the west, ensuing a positive PNA. And we see there is some warmth still in the east, but we have colder conditions here for south central Canada as well as the Dakotas. And then in the southeast up through the mid-Atlantic and even northeast here is below normal. So a little bit of a colder look here in the east, and especially for the immediate east coast. And that continues to the end of the model run. Again, warmer conditions out west is going to encourage mostly cooler air, and we see that up and down the eastern seaboard. If we get to June 19th with the majority cold for the eastern states, this could be one of the colder summer months in recent memory, which is just wild to think about. Let's take a look at some of the storminess, though. We have right now, as we're speaking, a pretty big frontal boundary here underneath this low, and this is causing thunderstorms from Texas through a lot of the plains into the Midwest, even the upper Midwest, and into the Great Lakes there. Thunderstorm chances are going to really continue. Florida here has a lot of tropical moisture moving northward. There is a very slim chance that we see tropical development off the southeast coast, but that chance has actually dropped over the last 24 hours from a 10% chance to nearly 0% chance. So again, very, very slim chance of development. Still very interesting to see from the National Hurricane Center getting our first little chance of development. There will obviously be many, many more of those opportunities to come, especially as we move into late July and into August and September. But for now, that one probably is not going to occur. I want to take us towards tomorrow afternoon, where we see that tropical moisture arriving for some of the kind of southeast here. Also, for a lot of your kind of Ohio Valley, deeper south areas into the northeast, that line of thunderstorms is occurring. And we have a new area of moisture for the Rockies and plains, bringing thunderstorm and severe weather chances by Thursday on the 5th. As we keep going towards Friday the 6th, the main areas of thunderstorms is going to be this kind of lower Midwest, Ohio Valley, a little bit of the deep south into the northern Mid-Atlantic and northeast here. That tropical moisture offshore, pretty well offshore, and likely won't come back to the coast. By Saturday, the 7th, we see a lot of this storminess is mostly over the Midwest, deep south, Mid-Atlantic, northeast. We're seeing, again, a lot of your eastern states dealing with just plenty of thunderstorms. We can look at many different states and see the same type of conditions. And by this point on the 7th, we are mostly dealing with a cooler pattern and cooler conditions here in the east as opposed to the west. As we keep going towards Sunday, something interesting happens. We get a very strong low here north of Michigan and Wisconsin. A little bit of an extended cold front coming out, and this could be a severe weather threat for these areas along that cold front. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. Areas further to the southeast are dealing with more tropical moisture, so humid, hot conditions, and some pop-up thunderstorms. Probably won't have as high of a severe weather chance as these areas to the north along that cold front boundary. Moving towards Monday on the 9th, We see this cold front kind of just continues into the northeast, mid-Atlantic, Ohio Valley, and still for the deeper south. Lots of moisture underneath it as well. So as that cold front kind of interacts with a lot of these very moist areas, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Looking towards Tuesday on the 10th, we see a lot of your kind of Gulf seaboard and then eastern seaboard seeing those thunderstorm chances before Wednesday, where we do dry up quite a bit, but still the deeper south and southeast areas dealing with some thunderstorms. By this point, Wednesday the 11th, we do slow down a little bit. I'm going to take us towards the 12th. Again, deep south. This is going to be almost a daily occurrence for a lot of the summer, where we're going to be seeing pop-up thunderstorms for a pretty widespread area. We do see some low pressure, which is going to be interesting to watch. By Friday the 13th here, we get broad low pressure across the northern plains. This kind of center of the low pressure is here. These actual L's on screen are trying to pinpoint the lowest pressure anywhere. But if we take the middle of that area of low pressure, it's somewhere near Nebraska or South Dakota. We have lots of showers and thunderstorms happening in there, but also continued isolated thunderstorm activity for a very wide region of the deeper south. Moving towards Saturday the 14th, I mean, really east of the plains, can you find a state that doesn't have a chance of rainfall? I can't, that's for sure. The west is relatively dry. Sunday the 15th, we get, again, widespread activity, but the biggest pocket of heaviest precipitation will be closer to the Midwest, Great Lakes, and into the Northeast. Again, that's Sunday the 15th. Monday, we almost want to see a low form here. Likely there's some thunderstorms, especially in the southern area, but I would expect mostly heavier rainfall and windy conditions there for the Northeast by this point, Monday the 16th. Tuesday on the 17th, we actually do get a very weak nor'easter developing there south of New England, bringing heavy rainfall and wind. This has been a crazy spring and now early summer for nor'easters, and that looks to continue on this model run, which is just wild. Wednesday the 18th, that low is sticking near the northeast, and we really end up at a point that doesn't look too different than what we're starting with just kind of nor'easter showery activity there in the north, thunderstorm chances in the deep south, and some low pressure center areas popping up for the Rockies and expanding into the plains. Looking at the total precipitation, because of all of this, we end up with very high amounts for everywhere in the blob that I'm kind of drawing now. We get a little drier pocket in these areas, but that's going to be really hard for these models to predict. So that could be somewhere else. That could be really non-existent. It doesn't, there is no rhyme or reason to it. But when you're looking at a 15-day period and you see such a specific detail, it can be off a little bit. The heaviest precipitation will be from Oklahoma and Texas, eastward through the deep south into the southeast there, as well as areas up in the northeast where we're dealing with maybe 5 to 10 inches of precipitation there, as well as these areas down here, 5 to 10 inches. So when we look at the anomalies in a second, it's going to be highly above normal in some of those areas. And as we look at that, the blues for the most part are at least like double your average. But when we get into those brighter blues like we have for Oklahoma, Texas, the Carolina coast, New England, we're maybe looking at 2 to 3 times what you average over the next 2 weeks. Crazy stuff. Again, especially for this pocket right here, where we deal with heavy amounts of precipitation over the next couple of weeks. As we take a look at the Storm Prediction Center outlooks, we'll start with day 1 here on Wednesday, June 4th today. 1 month away from the 4th of July, really wild to think about. We have a massive light green area that you can see on screen here. That is where we expect general thunderstorms, but severe weather isn't expected, but it's certainly possible, as these are very hard to predict, so heed every watch, warning, and advisory. The 2 darker green areas there is your level 1 marginal risk, where we expect isolated severe weather to occur, and then your yellow area there for New Mexico and Texas is where we have a level 2 slight risk and expect scattered about severe weather to occur today on Wednesday the 4th. As we move towards Thursday the 5th, we get a larger marginal risk area there in the lighter green, or the darker green, that extends all the way through the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, and Northeast there. We also have a larger slight risk for Texas, New Mexico, Colorado, Kansas, Oklahoma, all of those areas dealing with that. And then for day 3 on Friday the 6th, we get a flatter slight risk and marginal risk there for the plains, some of the lower Midwest, upper deep south areas. This is a bad area for severe weather, and I think for Friday the 6th, we could even get an enhanced risk or more in there by the time we're getting this to day 1. So please pay attention and track this if you live in these areas, because this could be a particularly dangerous severe weather day. And really, the day following on Saturday the 7th doesn't look better, maybe even worse for similar areas. It just extends towards that southeast coast now. But this yellow area on our extended day, which is day 4 through 8, the kind of normal categorical outlooks are for day 1 through 3. So this day 4 outlook roughly translates to a slight risk for all of these yellow areas. And this will be another day that I think we could see a slight risk, enhanced risk, maybe even more for some of these yellow areas. So another dangerous severe weather day. We'll check if there's any other outlooks. I don't think there is. Yeah, there's not. So after this day on Saturday the 7th, it's kind of a big question mark, but I expect activity to continue as June we've been predicting to be more active as far as severe weather since the beginning, and that is really panning out so far, unfortunately. With all that being said, we upload every single day, so be sure to subscribe. You can even hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we upload so you never miss one. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.